Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Can It Take K26, the show where we take a variety of Nerf blasters and see if they can be upgraded using a K26 spring. I am your host, Captain Xavier, and today we're going to be covering some of the larger Ultra blasters, starting with the Ultra 3. Now, the Ultra 3 was released in 2020 and features an 8-round internal magazine as well, and is pump action, feed from the top, the usual. But how well does it perform? Let's get them stack numbers so we know what we're starting with. To the chronograph. Right, here's the chronograph. We're gonna put 3 rounds through it and see what we get for FIPS. 105. 104. 89. Sure, why not? That seems spicy to anyone else. Let's take it to the range and see how it performs. I'm here on the range, there's noise, and I'm gonna see if I can hit anything at all with the Ultra 3. I've got 5 rounds, see if I can hit anything. Nary so much. Well, a little bit low. A little bit no. I got one! Ultra, man. What are you gonna do? Alright, let's see what happens if we try to put a heavier spring in. Let's go see if this thing can take the K26. Right, well, as expected, the performance was fairly abysmal, and I can't imagine that adding more power is gonna help that, but we're gonna try anyway. So, let's get this thing open and see if it can take K26. Train? Right, we are in, and as expected, there's some massive gear reduction going on in here in order to facilitate the priming of a particularly heavy spring, or I assume it's a heavy spring. There is also a fairly large plunger tube in here, which explains those FPS numbers we were getting that I was a little bit surprised by. Now, how easy is it going to be to get this out of here so that I can get to the main spring? Looks like we might get lucky. Sure enough, it's actually quite easy to get to. That's pretty cool. That is a fairly stout spring. That is similar to K26, honestly. Take a look at the plunger head. I think I'm gonna need to get this out of here. Now, the deciding factor is gonna be the plunger head, because the spring needs to fit inside it. I think we have some compression to play with, so that's good. But will K26 fit in this plunger head? Not without some modification. There are 4 tabs in there, and I'm gonna dremel them down a little and hope I don't break anything. Okay. Well, dremel down 2 of them, and now I can in fact get K26 in there. So, we're gonna give it a go. Oh, and you look at that. I've got a section of K26 that's a little bit longer, but we will see if it will suffice. I know someone's gonna ask. It's got about 16 coils in it. Ah! I got it in there, I got the shell closed, now I just need to finish buttoning it up. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Ingenious.
I agree completely. Right, see if it primes. It does, and it doesn't feel heavy. Let's take it to the chronograph, see what we've done. Right, K26, let's see what we're hitting. 118. 110, 118. So 15 FPS, 10 to 15 FPS improvement? Not horrible. See if it's done anything for the accuracy. Right, back on the range. Let's see if an extra 10 FPS suddenly makes this thing accurate. Nary so much. Yeah, well. Back to the shop. Right, well, accuracy didn't seem to be affected much. It didn't really get any worse. It didn't really get any better. An extra 10 FPS, give or take. Is it worth the effort? Probably not, in my opinion. But, yeah, still. It can take a K26, and it did increase the performance. So if you're looking for just a little bit more, there you have it. Right, let's move on to our next contestant after these messages. All of the K26 used on this series was donated by Out of Darts. Check out his new website at outofdarts.com for all your Nerf modding needs. Our next contestant is the Ultra Pharaoh, which I acquired specifically for this video. Well, it's not true. I acquired it for a completely different video. It just happened to be convenient that it would work for this one as well. As you can see, it is still in the box. Ain't never been sniffed. So we're gonna bust it open and take a look at it and then get them stack numbers and see what we can do with it. And there we have it, the Pharaoh. Now the Pharaoh was also released in 2020, but it is magazine fed, kind of a bolt action-y looking number. Comes with very ostentatious gold darts. I don't know what's up with that. Now, say what you will about Ultra, I actually really like the form factor of this, which is why I wanted to do the half dart conversion, which I have the kit around here somewhere. Because I really like the form factor of this, which is odd for the Ultra line. Most of it I don't like. The grip is still wonky, but I like the rest of it. It's generally meant to be right-handed. It doesn't have an ambidextrous bolt, but because Nerf blasters are so light, it's actually really easy to cycle them left-handed. You're holding it with your left hand and priming it with your right, which is cool. Don't like this. I don't understand why this wasn't an attachment. It has rail up here. Why not put rail on the top and make this attachment so I could get rid of this absolutely atrocious scope? Look at the reticle on that. It's absurd. But that's not what we're here about. Today we're here to see if it can take a K26. First, we need to get them stack FIPs. So let's take it to the chronograph. Right, let's see how those gold darts fit. 109. 109. 111. What? Since when was Ultra that spicy? It's weird. Alright, see if I can hit anything with this. We are. There's still noise. See if we can hit anything at all with the Ultra Pharaoh. No. Nearly so much. I got one. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, see if we can improve it. Right, well, the performance was about the same as the other one. Not great, accuracy is not fabulous. FPS was higher than I was expecting, but we want to see what happens if we give it a little more power. So we're gonna see if this thing can take a K26. Apparently I had a malfunction with my camera, and all the footage of me actually opening it up and tinkering with it have been lost. So, long story short, it can. It took about 16 coils, just like the previous one did. Its stock spring is a little bit wider diameter, which meant the cap on the plunger had very similar plunger to the other one. The brackets that held the spring in place, I just had to Dremel that down a little bit, and then it fit in just fine. The stock spring is it's very similar to K25. It might actually be a little bit heavier, but it's a little bit smaller diameter, so K25 wouldn't fit in the plunger head, but K26 did. So, it's in there, it's catching. Word from our sponsor.
Sunshine.
I disagree in the strongest possible terms. Right, let's get the new FIPs. Right, let's see what this thing hits on K26. 119, 114, 120. So, also about a 10 FPS boost. Hardly feels worth the effort. But let's see what it's done to the accuracy. To the range! Right, we're back on the range. Let's see if an extra 10 FPS does anything to this thing's accuracy. Oh, I got a hit. Oh, I got another hit. 3 hits! Still not great, but this thing's, like I said, it's a lot of fun. The bolt action, okay. Yeah, I dig it. I dig it. Let's go talk about it. Right, well, it can take a K26. I was able to hit more targets with it after the K26. Maybe that extra 10 FPS made all the difference. I think I just got lucky. But it can take the improvement, and it doesn't feel like a heavier prime. It doesn't feel like the internals are being overly stressed. Though I really can't tell you what's going on the internals. The prime doesn't feel that much heavier. It doesn't feel like, you know, you're straining anything, but those those gears that they have in there give you an amazing amount of mechanical advantage. So what is it doing to various posts and pins and screws and whatnot? I couldn't tell you. You'd have to, you know, test it long term and see what actually happened. But it can take a K26. So let's recap. Right, for those of you just tuning in or who just skipped to the end to see the results, that was a yes for the Ultra 3 and a yes for the Ultra Pharaoh. They have very similar internals as far as plunger tube size and catch style and plunger head style and all of that. And so with only a little modification, I was able to put about 16 coils of K26 in both of them. And in both cases, it improved the FPS by about 10 to 15. So not a huge improvement, but not nothing. Didn't seem to have much of an effect on the accuracy. It's still ultra and not very accurate. But if you're looking for a little bit of improvement, you can in fact get K26. And now there might be other options. The spring from this one actually nests quite nicely in the spring for the Ultra Pharaoh. The Ultra 3 spring fits inside the Ultra Pharaoh spring, and that would probably have a much more significant effect. But I can't say what it would do to the internals. They both have gear ratios that allow you to prime even a heavy prime, so even with K26 it's a really easy prime. But I don't know how much more you could go before you would shear gears or break pins or posts or whatever. But K26 doesn't seem to have that much of effect on the prime, so I doubt it's having that much of effect on the internals. But upgrade at your own risk. Now, I do plan to put the Half Dart kit in this, so yes, you didn't get to see the internals and have it open up in this video because I had a malfunction. But you will get to see that when I put the Half Dart kit in. So stay tuned for that in the near future. I have to figure out where I put the Half Dart kit. It's on a drawer or a shelf here somewhere. But there you have it. So let me know what you guys would like to see in future episodes. There have been a number of new blasters released this year that I'm sure you're curious about. Let me know which ones you are most curious about, and if I have them or can acquire them, I will feature them. Thank you for watching.